Hey Jacob, we were talking before we recorded. We've had some issues. There's always issues to iron out in this type of stuff. My Calendly link or something wasn't working. Didn't even get a Zoom link to come to.
Yeah, little bit of technical difficulties. We got that ironed out. We're on our way.
Yeah, yeah. There's been quite a few of those I've had to jump over since I started, and I'm sure it won't be the last. So,
Yep.
anyways, um, so we've connected on Instagram a little bit. I've been following you for a while. But how about we start off with what you do?
Yeah. So I'm Jacob Godar. I by industry landscaping, lawn care and landscaping. Started in 2014 in Illinois, and now we have another location in Florida. And we started that in 2021, and it's been kind of our bread and butter business for us, and that just keeps expanding a little bit. I've been just like you said, you kind of found me and followed some of my content. I've been really adamant about creating just even YouTube videos from the beginning, kind of documenting my story and trying to help other people understand business stuff better. Because my favorite part about this is not what I do; it's the business aspect. And so that's evolved into GrowCom, which is like our coaching group, and then yeah, now in Illinois we have a Skag dealership as well. So it just kind of keeps adding up. Right before this started, I got pictures of a new person who just purchased a piece of equipment. It's just fun ride, million different directions, all kind of in the green industry.
Nice, nice. I've had quite a few episodes already with landscapers, so
Okay,
that
cool.
I know quite a few landscapers as well. And there's
Well,
still, I mean, you see on Instagram, it almost makes it seem like that there's so many people out there doing the same thing, but you
mhm.
get down to it, there's so much room for growth in every industry. It's crazy.
100%, 100%.
That that's actually something that trips me up sometimes because I'll be, producing content for this and I'll be on Instagram and seeing, oh man, there's like 10 people doing the same thing that I didn't know before. And
Yeah,
but you know, like you said, it's important to still do that because like you're gonna reach people that I can't. And that's
yeah,
kind of the most important thing to get across to everybody, you know.
yeah, yeah. And Sharon, and then the other thing about blue collar industries in general, like, or anything you do, if you're able to learn something and then share it with other people, it reinforces what you know and pushes you forward even more. Plus, you should learn and then try to share that stuff as well. I mean, helping other people is a huge part of what I do or what I like to do.
Yep. Well, it comes down to the scarcity mindset of people, which I mean we all have, It's it's really hard to get out of the thinking about your competition as competition instead of building business with them and
Mhm.
kind of networking with them. It's really hard to get out of that. I've noticed, especially.
Well, and I mean, I get that, but at the same time, people need to, and I think it's more that's horrible in the contractor industry.
Yeah.
And I've always been a person that I want to sit down, I want to meet, I want to have lunch with people. And if I wouldn't have done that when I first came to Florida in 2017, I wouldn't know the people I know now. And I literally just had a text a few days ago that was like a person I met when I first met one of the landscapers here. He's wanting to get out of his business.
Mm.
He's wanting us to acquire it. And that's a $500,000 opportunity to add to our sales. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And that was from I don't care about competition. I mean, I'm not here. First of all, I'm not really here to compete. I'm here to dominate what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
I don't even look at what anybody else does. Like, unless someone, and I just said this today to the team, unless someone does wrong by us or rubs us the wrong way, I don't pay any attention to them. And then when they do that, all they become is someone we put a target on to, like, really try to prove we're going to kick butt, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's how it should be, I think there is a point where paying attention to competition to see what they're doing is important, but if people get carried away with oh, well, this guy stole jobs from me, or this guy, he underbid me and he stole my work, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, now I need to go try to get the jobs back. It's like if people are going to come in and underbid you, and then your people that you're working for are going to take that, in my
Yeah.
mind, that's not necessarily a problem with your pricing. It's more a part with the customer. Maybe they're
Yeah,
not the right fit.
yeah, and I for sure don't want someone who's buying on price. I want people who are buying on value. That's how we make money. When
Mhm.
you're fighting for people, like, you don't want to be the Walmart of the industry. And when you're fighting for what you're talking about, that's effectively like going over trying to fight for people who want the lowest cost. You're going to make the lowest margins, and you're never going to have the volume a Walmart has.
Yeah.
So you're setting yourself up for failure from the beginning. And I also don't want to be a Nordstrom's either. I kind of would like to be Target, right? The center, great product, great value, not a Walmart, not super bougie, just doing well and making good profit.
Yep. Yep. There's a lot of that out there. And I think it's I follow Tom Reber too. I'm sure you've seen him around.
Tom Reber's one of my business coaches. Like, me and him are
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, I love
Yep.
Tom.
Yep. And one of his big things is like double your prices. And that's what I hear from, Sean Whalen. If you know who Sean Whalen is, he's a lot of these business coaches.
I was in the Lions Den last year. I was going to fly-ins all the time. I'm like, I
Really?
love like that. Yeah.
Really? I'm still in the den.
I took my production manager here to Lions Den Live earlier this year. So
Oh, nice. Nice. Maybe I saw that. Yeah, I was there last year with my wife and friends. So
cool. Cool.
yeah. Yeah, and that's another important thing is getting a coach. Um,
Yeah.
there's so many people that will hear that you have a coach and just be weird about it and just be like, well, why do you need that? Or that's a lot of money to pay and all of this garbage that really like that's not really the type of people I want to hang out with that don't really want to level up and improve.
Yeah. There's that. I hate when people say it too. That snake oil salesman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It sounds like I was given a presentation where I talked about how much high ticket stuff I've been to as far as conferences. And I was talking about how much I'd learned. And a person who was kind of thinking from a small minded mentality went straight to the snake oil comment. And then, it sounds like they were using you to make a lot of money off conferences. And I'm like, dude, I don't care what you pay. Like, you can pay 10 grand a ticket, 30 grand a ticket, whatever the number is. It sounds crazy and most people don't understand. If you spend 10 grand, or no, make it bigger, make it 30 for a ticket to something for your couple people to go, whatever.
Mhm.
Uh, if there's one thing in there that can make you 50, 100, 200,000, $1 million, like, it doesn't matter that it costs a lot.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's so common. And I do think a lot of people get into the blue collar industry stuff in general. And if they start their own business, they get in because they were really good at the trade. And they think, man, because I'm really good at doing X, I don't know, body work on cars or HVAC or plumbing,
Mhm.
since I'm really good at being a tech, that I'll be a really good business person. Unfortunately, that's not the case at all. There's so much more to it. And I think that mentality stays with people where they're so proud of their skill that they don't really want to like take on all this other information that's ultimately going to level up their business acumen and make them a better business person. And I got lucky because I didn't care. I am pretty skilled at building stuff. Like, I've been into everything all my life, but I didn't care about my skill. I wanted to learn about business, and I wanted to grow a business, and I wanted to make huge businesses. Like, that's my only, I want to have hundreds and hundreds of employees. Like, that's the things that I want to do. And being a good tech in whatever field doesn't get me there. Like, being a tech and swinging the hammer when you're 1 is 100% of your revenue. When you're 10, and if you're still swinging the hammer, now you're only doing 10% of revenue creation. When stepping in and being a business owner, you can take things that affect the whole, whether that be 10, 100, or 1,000, and they move everything forward. And that's a whole different deal. And all that stuff comes from coaches and consulting and stuff that you don't know, stuff that you don't know what you don't know, and you pay people to get there faster. I went off on a
Yeah.
wild tangent with that thing. So
I get it. I'm the same way. It's like I look at it as if there is one thing every week in whatever group I'm in that I can learn and take from and apply in my own life. why not pay for it? I usually there's at least one thing I learn every
Yep.
single call, every single time I interact on there that makes it worth it. And it's a small-minded thought process to not want to join because of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I think even if you're not a business owner, it's super important to get into doing that stuff because there's so many places in your life that you can optimize. I'm not a like I work in construction. I'm a concrete finisher and I work for my dad. I'm not a business owner in the trade industry. My wife and I
Yeah.
have a website business because I was studying, going to school for a long time to get out of the trade industry, because everybody says to like get out of it. It's been
Yeah.
a trend lately. But even before I was, the coaching groups were insane
Mhm.
value, and the things I was learning has pushed me to where I am right now,
Yeah.
which to some people might not be where they want to be, but it's definitely farther along than where I was, and I don't even want to know where I would be without having that influence.
100% agree. And I think it really depends on just making sure you're getting the right fit, right? Like Lions Den, perfect for anybody that whether you have a business or don't have a business. Now I'm not a part of Lions Den anymore, but I'm a part of Apex and I'm a part of like the
Yeah.
entrepreneur level, which is above, like, would be good for anybody, I'm sure, but you could do the lower level entourage level. And whether you're an employer, whatever, you get tons of value. And yeah, you don't have to be a business owner because some of the stuff is so businessy that, like, if you weren't a business owner, it's not going to bring you much value because you're not going to be able to implement much. But like a thing like Lions Den or a thing like the Entourage Group, like, there's so much stuff that guides towards personal development as a whole and is going to make you better in all areas just by following their practices. And like, I know gratitude's a huge thing in Apex, and it's going to make you better no matter who you are, and going to make you make more money working for somebody because you're going to become a better employee. And like, people don't, like, a lot of times people don't think about what employers really value. And now, especially being a business owner and being involved, I would think even if you weren't a business owner, you would see enough business owners to see what they truly value to
Yeah.
show how you could leverage your position. That's one of the
Yeah.
biggest things I've learned from business owners. I've got some friends staying at our house, and one of the younger people is working for a cleaning company, and she's talking about how she gets paid commission. I'm like, dude, that's great. Let's talk about how you could make a lot more money. If I was you, this is what I'd do. You don't have to do it, but now I know how you could lever the hell out of a position and fuck getting paid hourly. I'll be
Yeah.
like, I want to sell stuff. I want to add value. I want to make sure this owner makes gobs of money, and there's no other opportunity but to pay me what I'm worth.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
so. But
for
yeah,
sure.
so
No.
you can get all of that and be around people like me that want to run businesses and have, but just like I said, I just like sharing stuff. I was just telling her because we were talking about it. And that's what business owners that are passionate about it will do. You get in Lions Den, you get in any of these things, and even as an employee, you're going to get that stuff, and it's going to help you go a lot farther in whatever you're doing too. And hell, maybe you'll end up with a business. You don't know.
Hell, well, I mean, even just the networking too. So I've had, I'm not looking for a job, and I have
Yeah.
had a crazy amount of job offers just from leveraging my positions that really like pay really good, and they're from people that I have met in these groups that
Mhm.
that I would like to work for, that share the same values that I do. And
Mhm.
and they pretty much, I've gotten on calls with people and they're like, well, if you ever want a job, you come let me know. And I was like, I'm not. But that's just how it goes because they see what I'm doing. They see what I'm sharing on social media. They see that I'm in the group trying to be better, trying to better myself. They're like, I really
Yep.
could use someone like you.
Yep.
So it's, I mean, but then it's hard at some point for people to also find employees, and that's kind of why I think why it keeps happening because people aren't really making themselves out there to be this like valuable, a high value person.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
how have you been handling hiring employees? Because I hear a lot of people say it's really hard to find employees and get people, the right people.
So, I mean, obviously, everything worth doing is a challenge, like starting a business or being good at a sport, whatever it is hard. Employees is another thing that it's worth having employees. You're nothing without a team. Like if you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go with a team. And so we invest a lot of time. We market really heavy for it. We kind of set a point of, hey, we're going to have at least 4 interviews in both locations every week. So even if we have all the people we think we need, so we're always introducing ourselves to new people, because there are going to be times like we set 5 interviews today and one person showed up. He was a great guy. We hired him, and so yeah, there are challenges, but if you can up the volume, you are going to meet enough people. I think a lot of people, for one, you need to market, and Tom will say this all day long. You should be marketing for new employees like you're marketing for new leads in your business. So you should be aggressive about it. You should be sharing with everyone that this business is growing. We're here's the opportunities here. And then also be showcasing just that, the opportunities, the culture, how much fun you have. And that's been something like, out of the team members here, I think 9 of them went to 5 hours away last Saturday, and we ran a Tough Mudder together. It's got my Tough Mudder finisher shirt on today.
Nice.
And, we'll do like team paintball, team axe throwing, this, that, the other, and then having the incentives like any business, 401ks, health insurance, things like that. So trying to have a good place where people have fun together and can really do stuff together. That way, yeah, you're marketing for all these employees, but then when someone comes in that knows other people, a lot of times we'll get 5 people from one person, because a lot of them were kind of looking for something new, and they just brought them all on. So you really got to be pushing on everything all the time and constantly interviewing. And I think I know what people do is they feel comfortable with where they're at with employees. And then so they don't do anything with hiring. So they just shut it off. And then all of a sudden, somebody finds a different job, another person just randomly just implodes and quits, because there is attrition in our industry, and people will throw away their livelihood over a girlfriend breaking up with them, or whatever crazy thing happens in their family. And if you thought you were good one day, a week later you could be screwed. And if you're not constantly hiring, you're always on this roller coaster. So we've really been able to fight the roller coaster by staying set with like four people every week. And that's been probably one of the biggest changes that's helped us get off the roller coaster that only like a year ago we were on.
Mm-hmm. That I'm curious, how much have you gotten any applicants or anybody finding you on social media that wants to work with you?
I don't know. I'm sure there are. I mean, I know I've interviewed people that have watched me on social media. I get a lot more people, like especially the people buying mowers up north, like especially if they are a small lawn and landscape company. A lot of them are like, we follow Jacob on social media. We like what you guys are doing, this and that. I get that feedback from the dealership, and I get a lot of feedback from our clients watching it. So I would assume some employees do, but I don't get a ton of that information. But I do know like current employees listen to our podcast and listen to a bunch of different stuff. So I don't know. There's a lot of times where it's gotten to the point, like in Illinois, I don't interview anybody. I'm not there. And then here in Florida, I usually am more like a second interview person. And so I don't always see everybody to get that feedback. But you got to imagine there's some, because you get into if you go to the website, you start going down the trail of what all is connected to it, and you would find that stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing one benefit really I tell people of getting yourself out there is even hiring, because there's a lot of contractors I talk to that see no reason for social media, see no reason for websites.
They're crazy. They're like, is cussing okay on here?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, that's fucking stupid. Like, that is pitiful. Like, we need to bring some badassery back to the blue collar deal and start acting like it's 2023 and not like it's the 60s. And these tools are available to us. And, we are all only going to be as good and be able to grow as much as people know us. And, I always hear contractors be like, I'm scheduled a year or 2 years out. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, you got like 3 employees and you work on one job at a time. And of course you are. And that's not, and so, but that's not bad. I'm not knocking those people. So if they have that and they want that and it's fine and they're happy, good.
Yep.
If they have that and they say they can't find employees and they would like to be able to grow and they'd like, to be able to do more, then yeah, they need to be getting more exposure so more people know about what's going on with them. I mean, a huge part of us has been us not even like directly marketing. It's been us branding the company on Facebook. And like people will call our office in Illinois and they just know by seeing the name and seeing her and seeing the people, like if they're talking to Zoe in the office, they know what she looks like just from seeing her so much on marketing, and they see our team having fun, all this stuff. So like we'll have clients ask and friends of employees be like, is it really as fun as it looks like it is to work at Scooters Lawn Care? And like that's all from people seeing us. And you could never share that without social media and without a website, without these ways to have a social network that are above and beyond shaking someone's hand and meeting them.
Yep. Well, that's always my point is, obviously since we're doing websites, I'm always telling people, that they should be using social media. And it's honestly a hard enough sell for a lot of guys to get a website, let alone get on social media and like, get their phone out and take a video of themselves talking. And I'm like, this is so important and it's free. I mean, let's discard the whole website thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just start posting on social media. It's like the number one tool that we have right now you can use to build your business. And it's free and it's easy to use.
Yep.
It blows my mind. And I'm sure people are sick of hearing it because I'm talking about it all the time, but like everybody needs to. I think everybody needs to, even if they're not a business owner. Again, like start building your brand, start building who you are on there.
Exactly. Build your brand. Everybody has something interesting about them. Everybody has something that they know that they can contribute to other people. We should be trying to pour into other people the good things that we have or that we know about or that we have expertise in, to add value. Like everybody gets paid in direct correlation to the amount of value they bring. And so everybody should always be trying to bring more value to every situation, if they want to earn more money. Back to the thing, like there's some people that are just totally content. I'm kind of envious of people who just don't care, because it would be way easier to just be relaxed. I think it could be just as stressful. I just don't know it. But yeah, I don't know. Like that, a big book that like Tom and his whole organization pushes is They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. All about creating content, all about why you should and the way it'll build your business. And doing a song and dance about acting like how you're the professional in front of each one person you meet versus creating an actual video catalog online of stuff that people can search in your area that actually show you trying to help and answer questions that they would have. Like you build FAQs and website. Well, now I shoot all the videos for all the FAQs and every other question my clients have. And now I am the professional just because now I'm adding value to them to help them understand what does the process look like? What are the hiccups? What are the problems? What's a cost-effective way to do this? What's a bad way to do that? And now they used all that content to help make decisions, and they trust us before they even call us.
They're sold before they even work with you.
Yep. Yeah, we have people, especially when I was still selling a bunch of stuff here in Florida, we'd have people that'd be like, we really appreciate the videos. We knew as soon as we saw that we were going to work with you. We didn't even look for anybody else.
Yeah. Well, and that's really how it goes. It sounds crazy. It sounds like that's not how it would go, but it does. So it's really, really interesting to me. Your business, Scooters Lawn Care, do you do installs and maintenance or just maintenance or?
Maintenance and installs. I in Illinois, we're probably closer to 50-50. Here in Florida, we're more like 30-70 would be my guess. Majority installs. Here it's weird though. I mean, we just having people inquire about us purchasing accounts and buying. Like I had a card right here that the office took down. Somebody wanted to sell 115 lawns, and um so I don't know. We'll probably get closer, and we pick up a lot of mowing too. So we'll probably get more even. But yeah, it's always been a do both thing. I have a lot of friends that want to get out and just do landscaping, but the value of a business is heavily influenced by how much recurring revenue you have.
Mm-hmm.
So I always want to keep reoccurring revenue, because if I was to ever, I mean, you should treat your business like someday you might sell it. And if someday you are going to sell it, you'd want it to be valuable and worth something. So reoccurring revenue plays a big part in that.
Yeah, for sure. And I know quite a few people that are doing one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a good reason to me to incorporate both. Having lawn care, like, do you have a lawn care division and crews that do installs, or is everybody kind of involved in everything you
So, I
do?
mean, our lawn care people in the slower seasons here in Florida, since Florida's year round,
Yeah.
in the slower seasons where you just don't cut as much, you go from cutting weekly back to bi-weekly. Our lawn care crews will mow less, and then maybe a couple days a week do some small jobs or do some trimmings or some other things. Typically in season though, the mow people mow. We just got our third truck for the mow team, and then we have 3 trucks out doing, 2 trucks are doing full-blown landscaping. One does our lighting and our LED stuff and real light trimming and light landscaping. So yes, they're very separated. But we always have people cross training too. So it's kind of like a yes and no. Like when it's slow, we got a lot of mow people that want to earn more. And I always tell everybody, ultimately, if you want to earn more money, there's only so much in mowing. You need to be in landscaping so you can lead a crew. You can get management fees and commissions that you'll just never see over in the mowing side of things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's super important. That's like a lot of people had issues back when the economy went down in 08 and 09 because there wasn't enough diversity in work that they have. So having that split is super, super crucial. That how do you go about marketing for maintenance when there's so many people out there that do it? So we kind of talked a little bit about marketing so far, but that's one thing that would stop people, or that people would be like, oh, well, there's so many guys out there. How am I supposed to get these maintenance contracts or these maintenance jobs?
So that's an interesting thing. Like the a bunch of people being out there is a good thing, and there's more than a bunch of people in Florida. Like every time you pull up to stoplight, there's multiple people that mow grass, like at every side. But so for us, a big part of what we did is we don't market for maintenance at all. We market for landscaping, and like we're called Scooters Lawn Care. So uh we're going to get lawn care either way. And I
Yeah.
don't market because I don't want to spend marketing dollars on a low dollar service to try to get a bunch of tire kickers in for that. So I would rather focus all the money on high revenue creation. And then I don't have to focus on, like, I was never in Florida. I was trying to stop us at 100 lawns, and we kept raising and raising and raising the prices to get it stopped, and it just wouldn't stop. So, and it was fixing it. We knew we had to raise it to get it to Illinois prices to make it as profitable as we wanted it to be. And so we got there and then raised it a little bit higher, and then we just kind of left it there. But what we've been able to do is we focus on making revenue in landscaping, so we don't have to be begging for mow clients or maintenance clients. And then so we still have a huge influx of them because we're called Scooters Lawn Care, and we're in the lawn and landscape industry. So I mean, you're going to get the stuff, but now we don't care. It doesn't matter if you sell it or not. So when we sell them, they're much higher priced than most people's normal accounts. So we really ended up with a super profitable book of mowing, and then our cash cow, which is the landscaping.
Will you ever end up getting some self-driving lawnmowers?
Yeah, I mean, I'd
Some
be interested in anything.
that so you know since all these tech layoffs lately, and people are all concerned about AI and everything, shutting down, taking over their jobs and all that stuff. I'm
They
always
should be.
telling people,
They should be. And you should
yeah,
be trying to figure out a way to have more value, because if you're doing a easily repeatable service, that's what I've never understood when people are fighting for minimum wage to raise. I mean, did you not think Walmart was going to put in self-checkouts to eliminate people that are getting paid minimum wage? Did you not think McDonald's was going to come up with a machine that would flip a fucking burger? Like, I mean, I get that we need fry cooks, but you should be setting your sights on things that aren't easily replaced,
yeah.
and the more skilled the trade, the less likely AI or a robot is going to take that over anytime soon.
Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to propagate here is trade jobs are some of the hardest jobs that you could replace with AI technology. I mean, yeah, you might have like things that are getting easier. You might have self-driving lawnmowers or whatever, but there's too many too many dynamic parts about the industry to even think about AI replacing anything.
Yeah.
Anytime soon. I think. I mean, within the next 10 years, no way. There's no way. I mean, I
Yeah.
saw a video of a robot hanging drywall, and I was like, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. But I just don't see any way that that's going to be like taking over an entire industry of this type of stuff, because it's in such an infancy right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, things are going to dramatically change.
Yeah.
People are going to lose jobs. Like when cars came around, carriage makers kind of went out of business, and like things are going to progress and things are going to change. There's new industries created, there's new problems created by every change that happens. But yes, most of the service stuff is going to be super, super hard to automate or get to that. Like, they're going to automate, dude. They're going to replace low dollar people, and for good reason. No one should be trying to stay low dollar. You should not be bitching about the fucking minimum wage raising. You should be trying to figure out how to make more money, because you should know if you're good. Like, if you're good at working and trying and bringing effort and attitude, you shouldn't even know what minimum wage is. I didn't know what minimum wage was when I was freaking 13 no, not 13. I had to be able to drive. Hold on. Unwind that. I didn't know what it was when I was like 17 years old. I never, after my first job, like I never made minimum wage after like a year of my first time working when I was 16. Even before that, when we detasseled corn when I was 14 and 15, we always got paid above because it's a hard job. So it's like, find stuff that's up the ladder, and those are also going to be the things that don't get replaced anytime soon.
Yeah, well, there's a large subset of people that are complacent and fine with just staying down here as opposed to trying to, and that's something that I've never really understood either, and I don't know if that's going to be fixed anytime soon. It's probably going to be made worse with time. I mean, even with COVID, I mean, it's completely taken away people's drive to go out there and get work when the free money's coming in.
What's crazy is like every business owner I've ever met is or most actually, I did hear a text yesterday, which was one of the first few that I was surprised. I don't know anybody in business or many people in business that didn't say COVID was like one of the best times of their lives.
Yeah.
I met a nurse the other day on a plane that she's like, it was great. I was traveling. I had time off. I could do stuff. I'm like, like there's always so much opportunity, even when shit hits the fan and stuff's crazy. To ever want to settle for a handout, like, dude, that's you're never going to get anywhere. Your handout's never. I don't come from understanding what that would be like or why you'd want that, so I can't have the conversation. You'd have to talk with someone that understands that. To me, I realized while a bunch of people were freaking out, I was able to like, make up my mind about how worried I was, and then hammer on and go kick more ass. And then we bought a big company at the end of that year too, and like we just kept expanding and a lot of people will use any reason to let off the gas and relax.
Yep.
And that's what makes it easy to be a good employee, a good a good business owner. Not easy. It's easy to separate yourself from other people because most people are just looking for a fucking reason to not work as hard or not try as much or have an excuse. I didn't grow because COVID. I didn't grow because of this. I would have, but I ran out of money. You know, like
The funny thing there is they care enough to complain and make excuses, but they didn't care enough to do anything about it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I COVID was COVID was awesome for us. We didn't slow down at all. It got busier, and we didn't
yeah.
get put out of work either. It's not like we were like, oh yeah, you got to stay home. It
Yeah.
almost, without the news, I wouldn't have even known it was a thing.
Oh, dude. See, I just, for the most part, after I made up my mind, I just kind of stopped watching the news anyway. And so, yeah, if you weren't sitting in a house watching a death ticker on CNN, like it really has zero effect on what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. The money that was being thrown around was insane. And I guess maybe work didn't stop because of all of the stimulus checks and people were now wanting to go out and spend money. So maybe the benefits from that outweighed the negatives, but you never know because
I'll tell
it's
you,
not
there
like
was a lot of people paying us way more than what a stimulus check was. So I ran a bunch of people inside a house and made them realize that their house was screwed up and needed work.
yeah.
So for the construction field, it just made everybody boom.
Oh yeah. Well, new housing never slowed down at all. Where at least where we're
Yeah,
at in Utah, it never slowed down. We did not have a slow moment that whole year. It was crazy.
crazy.
It was crazy. We had more slow moments last year because of supply chain issues than we did
Yeah,
in COVID. There wasn't even any, I shouldn't say any, but there was hardly any supply chain issues either back then. And it
wow.
makes you wonder how it makes you wonder how bad the problems are, because
Yeah,
people are talking about this economic collapse that we're about to have, and it, focusing on that negative aspect of that, and then that's all they see. But then you got people over here who is still going, they're still working, they're still making money. They don't even notice, and that it barely impacts them at all.
yeah.
It's crazy. I
Yeah, I mean, you need to be able to know that when shit's hitting the fan, everybody's running. So you should be able to figure out a way to capitalize on that because everybody else is like, I'm going to market less. I need to save money. I'm scared, and it's like it's a great time to just blow past all of your competition.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
what you're saying, I haven't noticed it. I mean, I keep hearing people, and I got a friend that I got to call after this, worried about having some issues with selling, and I don't know. I mean, I haven't noticed anything, and I just think that if you've branded and marketed well enough, and you have a good name, I think that there's always going to be somebody that's working. You know what I mean? Now, if you were a person that was doing more like what you said, which is all referral based, small business, doesn't have much of a presence on anything, unless you've been around forever and you're super well known, like yeah, your small stream may dry up,
Yeah.
and there's not enough new people that were ever finding out about you. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well,
yeah,
it's important to always have multiple channels of work coming in. Referrals are
mhm.
great. Referrals are probably one of the most important and one of the best sources
Yeah,
of clients.
because you close a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah, you close 90% of them probably or more because they're from people that you've already worked with, sending their
Yep,
friends to you. But there is a point where those may dry up. There is a point where
yep,
word of mouth stuff does dry up. That's one thing I
yep,
like about the social media is it ties in so well with word of mouth to begin with because
yeah,
your message grows and spreads faster, and people will work with you and they'll send stuff that you do to their friends, which is a lot easier accessible than them having conversations about it. But it
yeah.
goes down to where's your work coming from, you know.
Mhm.
That's a real big focus that people need to have instead of, oh man, well, what if I run out of work, what if I don't have any?
Yeah.
So Yep. Super, super critical, super important. Um,
Yeah,
what have you
you need
got?
to be, and just to hit on that real quick. Yeah, you need to be always figuring out like what all's filling the pipeline, like what's filling the top line funnel, and how do I get as many streams running there as possible. So if some start to dry, you still have other stuff coming in.
Yeah.
But,
Well, and that even goes to like having your clientele and your client base split up too, to where you've got your in your case your maintenance and your installs. You got your recurring stuff over here, and then you've got multiple different streams to get more stuff in.
yeah.
Um, so what I wanted to ask you real quick, what have you kind of got coming? What are you working on right now for your businesses? What have you got coming?
Well, I mean, I'm setting up some new goals of like this next 90 days. We've had we keep trying to step up the Florida goal because the Florida branch is just exploding in growth. So we're really targeted on hitting a number per month, So the revenue goal that everybody's shooting for here is 300 a month. And that's a big thing for us, because by the end of the year, we want to be doing 400. The big goal is 4 million here in Florida. And so that's top of mind. We've
Mhm.
got we've got probably one of the bigger things here in Florida that we're working on that's actually going to touch the whole company is we're really working on building back to the maintenance thing. We do a bunch of LED landscape lighting, and we're building out our maintenance package for that to go back then. That adds a bunch of value to all the people we've already installed them for and sell that to have reoccurring maintenance on all the high ticket lighting jobs we've done so far.
Yeah.
And plus, like I said, bring value back to them. So
Yeah.
that's a thing that's on the docket right now. And between that and just hiring people and making sure all businesses are full steam ahead, we're very, very vigilant on job costing and watching metrics and figuring out where we could be getting better at. So right now, between all those and shaking out some new ways to have everything get watched over on as far as like the costing a little bit better, that's probably some of the bigger priorities right now. And that doesn't even get into the dealership stuff. Like the dealership, we got a new software that's going to be getting implemented by June. GrowCom, I'm gonna at least contribute one more course this quarter. The list just goes on to the things we're doing. We're just going a million miles an hour in the green industry direction with all the things that we have that are pulling alongside of it.
That's another thing I was going to touch on, your coaching group. So how is that coaching going? Is your coaching kind of like more like the contractor fight, or maybe more like the Lion's Den, or like you
It's
mentioned the
kind of
course.
like Lions Den, I guess, kind of group atmosphere, but then with building courses, I guess another thing is to start bringing in some of my friends as people that are in that group that also have a lot of knowledge as well, to try to keep bringing more and more value in. So yeah, I do a call every Friday. I do, you can, if you're in the group, we can set up one-on-one calls. My wife runs all the marketing for all companies. So you've got like a marketing specialist on call if you're in there as well. The group also has, this could be for any industry, so it's irrelevant, but it's got all of our templates and things that we use all the way down to like documentation, handbooks, email marketing campaigns we're sending right now. Anything we put out, we put in there. So you've also got like a huge library of stuff where especially if you're green industry, you could just be like, oh, hey, I want a marketing email for this, and you can steal it and use it and rehab it a little bit. But a lot of that stuff would work for any industry. You would just have to tweak it some and give you a lot of good copy. So it's a big, long list of what there is in there.
Nice. Awesome. How long has that been around? I don't remember if you said or not.
Been around since, so I'd started like a kind of a store to sell some of our spreadsheets and stuff a long time ago, and that was kind of how this started. And then because I always had so many people asking questions all the time, and I was trying to give some kind of value without having to like sit on a computer computer and answer a million comments 24/7, which I don't mind trying to do, but I just can't always do it, and I'd rather have a place where somebody could directly make sure they got their problems handled in a timely fashion. So it really became the group in, I guess, I feel like it was in early 2020, is kind
Wow.
of when that started. So
Awesome. Awesome. I'm not sure
yeah.
I knew that you had a coaching group, honestly.
Actually,
So
I'm having a brain fart. It was either early 2020 or early 2021. Maybe it was 2021. Stuff happens so fast I can't even keep
dude,
track of all of it. It may have been
my
20. You know what? No, it was. We're in 23 now. It was
yeah.
2021. I was thinking
Okay.
we're still in
Okay.
22. I
Dude,
have a
like
hard time what day it is. And sometimes I've gotten an argument about how old I am too. So, I mean, if that gives any context to the conversation, and
my
been wrong.
the years have gone by quick since COVID. I couldn't believe that it's already been 3 years since that
Yep.
scam happened. Oh, well, this has been an awesome conversation. We talked a little bit about your businesses and your coaching. So where can people go to find, kind of all encapsulating information and maybe some of your social profiles?
So some of the stuff that we have out there, Jacob Godar on YouTube, Jacob Godar on Instagram and Facebook. The podcast is Grow by Design, very easy to find on anything that has a podcast. For the coaching group and more information on that and some of the things we do, that would just be jacobgodar.com. And that's going to be able to get you on the wait list for that and show you a bunch of other information of things that are currently going on. And that pretty much covers most of the bases of where we're at. I think I've actually got a TikTok now. I don't run that, so that's probably not the best way, but it is there.
Well, awesome. I mean, being out there on every platform is
Yep.
important, to be able to be found. So
Yep.
awesome. Well, I'm glad we were able to have this podcast. Thanks for coming on. So
Thanks so
we'll
much for having me, man. I
yeah,
appreciate it.
we'll keep in touch. I'm
I,
excited. I'll include all the links to your stuff in the show. So
well, thank you, man.
yeah.
Pleasure.